Hey guys, welcome to the HVAC Diaries. Today is Friday, October 27th, and this is my weekly HVAC vlog brought to you by New Calgon. How are you guys? Did you have a good week? Are you ready for some more HVAC adventures? Of course you are, it's been a whole week. Let's go. So this week I got to clean another ice machine, actually at the exact same place that I was cleaning 2 ice machines last week. It's at this little hotel. But instead of cleaning the guest communal ice machines, you know, you can just go there with your little bucket and fill it up. This is the ice machine in their actual kitchen. And it's a brand new machine. Well, it's been working for about 6 months. So they asked me to come and do the first cleaning on it. So shiny and new. Everything's so sparkly and clean and nice. Nice little snaps on the side instead of screws. This machine has a bin like a normal machine, not like the dispensers from last week. So even though there was more ice in the bin, it took me less time to empty it because I could just use a big scoop and just shoot and wheel it outside and dump it out on the parking lot like I did last time. I also made note of the items that she's got stored on top of that ice machine. So there's like a grate on top and the things are sort of off of the grate, except one, they've got like Christmas trees and stuff out there. One Christmas tree was just sitting right on the, like in the middle of the opening. So we took that off and we just told her to be very careful about the stuff that she stores on top of there because the machine needs to breathe. And it being the first time that I've serviced this machine at all, I stuck around to make sure that the first batch of ice came out. And sometimes it takes so long for that first batch to harvest, but this one is pretty good. We did some cleaning up and everything and then came back and checked it. It fell out and it's so beautiful. Speaking of ice machines, my dad went to go and take a look at one while my brother and I were doing another job. And this is for one of our catering truck clients. They have an ice machine kind of at their home base where they'll, I guess, take ice with them for the day. And their machine just wasn't working. And when my dad went to take a look at it, he found a faulty compressor. Now, just because of the brand of the ice machine and everything, we have to go to this like OEM website for OEM parts, like original manufactured parts. And the compressor was so expensive. It's so sketchy ordering parts for a unit that I haven't seen myself. I mean, I'll definitely confirm with my dad, but I'm looking for a compressor, which, okay, is very obvious. But still, yeah, it's just sketchy. Okay, I think I got it. Compressor kits. Alrighty. So, because it's this brand, I am gonna try and find a local supplier instead of paying $3,000 for the thing. So I try to shop around and find like an alternative one. All right, I want to know what that label says. Maybe I can read it.
I need a compressor for a Scotsman ice machine. It shows me a Tecumseh compressor, but it doesn't tell me any Tecumseh numbers.
And I took this little video for you guys. A little side note, because it just happened and I thought I would record it for the vlog. But I think it's so important to have diversity in all parts of the HVAC industry. And I keep pushing for more girls on the tools. I keep pushing. We need more technicians out there, more women, more representation. But we also need them in like supply houses and wholesalers and places where we get equipment and places where we call. Because I don't know what it is, but I just feel so much more comfortable with somebody that I can relate to and for me and feel a familiarity with. I don't know why. So this just happened. I was just trying to outsource a different compressor because the one that was on the OEM website, the original manufacturer's website, was so expensive. And it was made by a brand that we've worked with before, so I figured maybe I could just like find an alternative. But instead of calling any of the guys that I even feel like familiar with and friendly with, a few of them anyway, I called my friend Nicole because I just feel like I can just talk with her and she can ask me questions and I can answer in a way that I don't feel like, I don't know, like I'm being judged. So I just wanted to put that out there. I just really appreciate having a woman to phone when I need a certain kind of supply or any kind of help or anything like that. So more representation in all parts of the industry. That's all. So it turns out not only the OEM compressor, but the other alternative ones that we found, repairing this machine is going to cost him more than he paid for it. Unfortunately, he got it secondhand from somebody and he paid a small amount of money for it, like, I don't know, $1,200 or something like that. And just the compressor alone is going to cost more than that. So I don't know. I don't know if it's worth him fixing it, which is really unfortunate. We did 2 residential jobs this week, and as you know, I always disclaim that we don't usually typically work on residential systems. But the one lady, we've been working on her house for the longest time, for years and years, because she started out as a commercial customer. And so now, since we've been doing her home for so many years, of course, when she called us, we said, yes, we'll come. So her complaint was that there's a funny noise coming from the furnace. So when we got there, we checked everything over, started the furnace up several times. Nothing sounded weird. Everything looked good. Like there was nothing out of the ordinary. So we're just having a little chat with her. We're like, do you hear the noise now? She's like, no, that's so weird. She's like, at first I thought it was the fridge. Then I thought it was the hot water boiler. Now I think it's the furnace. And we're like, But it's not terrible because where she lives is in such a beautiful part of the city. So really enjoy the drive to her house and being on her property. And the second house call we did this week was a brand new customer, and he called us up and he was like, hey, I've got this Keg-O-Rator. So it's basically like a refrigerator that you put a keg inside, and then it's got like this tap and you can I've seen them in like offices where they have kombucha on tap. Coolest thing ever. I would take a kombucha on tap any day over a beer on tap. Anyway, so we like sussing this guy out on the phone. We're like, what kind of, he's like, no, it's a commercial it's a commercial unit, but it's in my kitchen at home. So we're like, strange. Anyway, so we went over there, and sure enough, we found it just a little bit shy on refrigerant. So the guy actually tried to do his own diagnosis and service on it, I guess. And what he ended up doing was replacing the thermostat. So what we think happened, this is what Trevor think happened. He thinks that the compressor was short on refrigerant, so everything overheated, and the overload on the inside, like this little safety, clicked off, and it was like, no, we're too hot, we're not working. And so the guy was checking things over, and he's like, this compressor's not starting. Obviously the thermostat, you know, where you turn it on and off, that's not working. So in the time that he took to go and get a new thermostat, replace it, and then test it again, by that time the compressor's cooled down, and it's like, yeah, I could try again. Let's go. So the compressor started, but he says there was just no cooling happening inside the little cabinet. So he called us. We did do a leak test. I mean, it's a really tiny system. There's 3.75 ounces of refrigerant in there. So we did a leak test, couldn't find anything. So what we've done is we've topped up the system, and we've told him to monitor it. It could last 2 days, 2 weeks, 2 months. It could last 2 years. So we'll leave him to monitor it, just because it's a unit that we've never worked on or never seen before. So yeah, we'll see how that goes. But he was very thrilled that we could be there. And in both of these house calls, there was a lady at home who ended up chatting with me about her equipment, about being a woman in the trade, about just general chatting. And I find that they tend to do that. And so I just want to just reiterate how important it is to have women, to have diversity, to have representation in all aspects of skilled trades and any kind of home service businesses. Because say we were in residential HVAC, say we did that on a day-to-day basis, I think ladies would feel so much more comfortable with me there. Like, it doesn't have to only be me, but just that I'm there, they sort of gravitate to me, and they want to talk to me about their problem or speak to me in a certain way. And I feel the same way, like I said earlier, about calling supply houses and suppliers. I just want to talk to somebody that I can relate to in a non-judgmental way. So it's important to have representation everywhere. This week I also took care of my monthly filter change at the pub and the liquor store, and that's where I get to fight with that one unit in the ceiling space with the folded filter. I complain every single time, and I'm there like every 4 weeks. Every time I've got to fold a brand new filter in half, fold it in half, stick it up there and get it in. I am dreading the day that there's anything else wrong with that machine. Like, even to clean the evaporator coil, how? We also went to this little taco place this week. where she's got this prep cooler, and she says that it just keeps icing up and also leaking water. So we took a look at the controller, and the controller was not programmed to go into a defrost. So that was a pretty quick and easy one. We just reprogrammed the controller, basically literally lying on this kitchen floor. So the only thing about number 2 is that it needs one probe, and because it's got 2, I don't know.
Differential it is.
And I just washed my hair that same morning, and then I watched the video back, and my hair is just all over that floor. Like, I should pull my hair out. Oh man. Whatever, shouldn't have washed it, but also I should have had my hair up. I did put it up after it was sweeping all over the floor. I put it into my little bun. I was like, all right, serious business now. This time, Trevor and I waited the 15 minutes of the defrost to make sure that it would come out of defrost once it was finished. We were called to the shipping and receiving department of the packaging factory that we work for. They have no heat. So my dad and I went out there to check it out. We started off at the thermostat just to make sure that it was actually calling for heat, which it was. It was calling for heat. So we go out onto the rooftop unit. And it's calling for heat on the thermostat on the rooftop unit, but nothing is happening with the heating sequence, nothing at all. So we check everything out, like each component, everything checks out okay. So we're like, what the heck? So we reset the unit. We check for power again on the thermostat on the rooftop unit, and this time there's no power. This time it's not calling anymore. So I'm like, there's no way that in the last like 2 seconds, it's heated up 3 degrees down there. There's no way. And my dad's like, what the hell? Like, somebody must be messing with us. Who would be messing with us while we're working on the unit? So I go back downstairs. I'm like, let me just go and make sure that the thermostat is still calling. Maybe something weird happened. Maybe somebody did turn it off, or I don't know. So I go down and the thermostat is still calling, but it's not working upstairs. So I jump it out on the thermostat downstairs, and heating works upstairs. So we had an intermittently faulty thermostat. I'm not sure, because it was calling when we arrived, and then suddenly it wasn't calling anymore. So
when I was programming the new thermostat, this old one actually died completely. It was completely unresponsive. The batteries are okay, and then suddenly it turned on and was fully reset.
I don't know. We're not taking any chances. We replaced the thermostat, reprogrammed it, and checked it. And we made sure that it works both in heating and in cooling. I'm on the phone at the thermostat, like turning it on, turning it off, changing things. My dad's on the roof making sure that everything is actually working as I'm changing it. So it was a pretty good little teamwork today.
Only a conventional, like skip the rest.
I was very surprised to see a spider on that rooftop unit. It's pretty cold. This morning was -2 degrees. So that little spider is hanging on for his life. No wonder he's in the heating compartment. Poor thing. The last thing we did this week was prepare for a job next week. At our meat supplier, we need to replace the evaporator fan motors, the blades, And hopefully the fan covers. Well, apparently one is okay. My dad went to check it out that day that Trevor and I were together. He went to check it out, but he brought the other fan cover because it is so gross.
Right, yeah. No worries, man. We'll try.
It's so gross. And I don't know if they're going to be able to find a replacement one of those for us. So we may have to just clean her up ourselves, maybe sand it down or something, and then we'll spray it with like a rust inhibiting coating. Yeah. So we'll see. But that's for next week.
It's got a shock on both sides. Oh no.
I started studying for school this week. So I'm going back to school in January, and it's time to refamiliarize myself with all of this. I would go back to level 4 of refrigeration school in January 2024. So I started studying ahead of the game. When I went back to level 3, I was shocked that we had an exam on the very first day. Day 1 was like, oh, welcome back. Let's see how much you remember. Write this exam. Oh, it probably doesn't count for anything. Oh no, it counts. So this year, I'm gonna be ready. All right, guys. Well, that's all I've got for you this week in the HVAC diary. Thank you so much for joining me on this episode of the HVAC Diaries HVAC vlog. Thank you for joining me on my adventures this week. I am so excited about this really sunny weekend that we have in store for us. And I look forward to seeing you all next week. Same place, same time. Bye.